Essex-based Ben Franklin is a business psychic, intuitive strategist, speaker, event producer, and founder of Bold Intuition Co., helping founders and leaders make clearer decisions, trust themselves, and build businesses that feel aligned with who they actually are. But before the coaching, the stages, the live events, and the intuitive strategy, Ben's path was anything but neat and linear. He grew up above his family's pub in London, raised by his dad in a fast paced, people filled environment where he learnt early on how to read people, sense what was going on behind the surface, and trust what he could feel, not just what he could see. That sensitivity was always there, the ability to pick on energy, read between the lines, and know where something feels off when it looks fine on paper. But for a long time, Ben didn't have the language for it, let alone the confidence to build a business around it. For years, he built a career that looked successful from the outside. He trained as a dancer, spent a decade in aviation with British Airways, worked his way into leadership roles, and later moved into high ticket property sales, where he became known for connecting with people, influencing decisions, and performing under pressure. But underneath, the success didn't fit. In 2014, a serious illness became the turning point that forced Ben to stop hiding the part of himself he had spent years trying to tone down. Instead of separating his psychic spiritual awareness and intuitive knowing from business, he started integrating them. Today, through Bold Intuition Co., Ben works with established business owners, founders, and leaders who are successful but feel misaligned, stuck, or disconnected from their next level. He's also the producer of Audacious Live, an event that brings together businesses, spirituality, personal growth, and intuition, work in a way that feels right, inclusive, and impactful. What stands out about Ben is that he doesn't ask people to choose between business and spirituality. He brings them together. He helps people to see what they can't always see for themselves, especially when they've outgrown the version of themselves and built their current success. Through his own journey of self-discovery, Ben Franklin practices what he preaches. In his words, I wasn't built to follow someone else's blueprint. Ben, welcome to Stories That Sell. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Oh, there are so many things I could talk to you about, but actually, I'm going to go right back to what was the name of the pub?
So it was called. It's still trading, surprisingly.
Is it?
It's called the Albion, and it's in Kingston upon Thames.
Ooh. Have you been back since?
I can't go
No,
back. So
too much.
I've been past, but I know it's
Well,
there, still going.
do you know, I have, having owned a hospitality business myself, I've always thought that every business owner should actually do some work in a hospitality business because they would learn so much about people from
Yeah.
being in there. I mean, it's such a great font of knowledge. What do you think, like being in that environment, taught you from a young age?
Um, it's a hard one because let's just say, like, because our as a family unit is different. So most people brought up living in a house, aren't they? So
Yeah,
for us, we were in a pub and we lived above it. So we never had that privacy. We never had the family time because the minute you come down the stairs and open the door, oh, you're in the bar. So it was like you're permanently there. So it was like life's a big show, I guess. That's kind of best way to. And but the difference is the people the other side of the bar are just talking about their lives and their pain points, and it's interesting now where I look back because they share so much and don't realize it.
yeah.
And I
I think
didn't
that's
realize
what,
it. I was like, oh, it's just
yeah.
fascinating human behavior. But in a pub, it's even more. There's just this level of trust that you don't know exists. It's weird.
It's like this secret society, isn't it? You walk
Yeah,
behind the door and you feel like they are literally walking into someone else's home with a pub. I
yeah.
think, and so that's where that kind of trust comes from. I just find it so fascinating. Um, you, I mean, your story and your career have been so interesting, and I can see how that journey has led you to where you are now. But I want to talk a little bit about the psychic and the spirituality side of it. At what point did you actually realize this was a gift and that you had this ability? Was there like a moment? Did you, I mean, did you always know, or did you kind of go, oh, actually, no, I am psychic. I just didn't realize it.
Right. I kind of always knew, even as a child, because as a child, I would see things that others couldn't. And I know this is the one thing that always sits with me. I will know if someone's a bad person.
Oh,
I
how do you
just
know?
knew there was someone to avoid. It's so weird because now, like, I use it. I'm like, okay, that's helpful, especially like when you like day to day. But as a child, I just knew if there were danger. Um, then other things I'd sense if family were going to argue, it'd happen within a day or so. Things would just happen. Like I knew it was going to happen before it did. Um, but I guess what I will say in that when I got older into teenage years, I wasn't so focused on it because I just feel like hormones and growing up gets in the way of that. But I've gone full circle now. It's a weird scenario.
Oh, that's well, what is it that you kind of so forgive me because I'm talking to maybe some of the more skeptical people on these
That's fine.
podcasts, which I'm sure you come across. But
Yeah.
what is it that you kind of see or feel when you kind of get these insights?
Um. Oh God, no, you're putting me on the spot because it's so different. Day to day, different things happen. But for example, let's try. I need to be vague without mentioning names of people, so I'll do it
Yeah.
that way. But there, right, I will talk about this. So one of my neighbours, and she had just invited me round just to meet her dog. I don't work with animals. I love animals, but I don't work with them. And she just asked me to sit with the dog. I didn't know why. Really
I
out
love
of
it.
the blue. So I don't know why I'm telling you this because it's really weird. Anyway, I was there for a good hour, and this dog really took to me. Just sat
Really?
with me, and she had said the dog never does that, especially with the men. I was like, okay, I was like,
Mhm.
that's fine. Um, but what I was actually getting is something for her, not the dog. And I just had to say it, and I just said, "Have you got? I've got something going on with my lung. I've got pain." I said, "Have you been to the doctor? Have you been to the doctor at all?" And I just said to Luke, "I'm not saying anything." I said, "But it might be worth getting a checkup."
Mm.
A few months later, she came back and told me that they'd found like a shadow on the lung, and I was like, "Okay." I didn't know. I
Wow.
was like, "Wow, this wasn't that long ago. It was only a couple of years ago, but it was just powerful because I was like, okay, it was just
Yeah.
another thing that I didn't realize I could do within what I do." Does that make sense? It's
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
that I think
It's
is the universe giving me something else that I didn't know I was aware of.
well, yeah, you could like do this kind of medically. I mean, amazing. What a fascinating story and such
Yeah,
a random occurrence to have
yeah.
happened.
And that wasn't the reason I was there. But I
Oh,
do
yeah,
think that was the reason I was there at the same time. It was, yeah.
yeah. These things aren't just coincidences.
Yeah,
They're,
yeah.
you
And that's
know,
nothing to do with what I do in business, but that was just an example of things that happened to me.
yeah. Oh, I just find it so interesting when it comes to like business because I think particularly at the moment where we're in a really interesting time for business owners where they're doubting themselves, they're maybe not following what they do, or they're binning their business without really thinking it through because it's not necessarily going in the way. How do you use your intuition and that spirituality side of it to really help business owners trust their gut instincts? Because I think we get so confused by the noise at the moment.
We do, and I have to say, I get drawn into that too because I'm in the same business world as everyone else, but I have to step back and think bigger and energetically. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
um, and with clients I'm working with at the moment, they are going through this process because we're in unknown territory globally, economically as well. And a lot of people are really questioning their identity, why it is they're doing what they're doing, and is it worth it? No, I've been through this process myself, so I'm like, right. Um, but what I do is teach people to reconnect with themselves because the first part is you need to remember why you did it. Why did you start that business? And what's different now? Because it might be actually that you've outgrown the business, it's done what it needed to do and it's time for a fresh start. It could be that actually you've outgrown the business, but you've not allowed the business to catch up with you. Do you see what I mean? So my
Ooh.
process is actually having this awareness of what's going on, how you're feeling, and the energetics of certain things. But it also doesn't just include the business; it could be personal life. Because if there is problems at home or family, whatever, that will affect how you operate your business.
Mm.
And a lot of the time, I know people are like, well, of course it would. True, but you don't realize how much energetically it's affecting the business. So then your relationships with clients and contractors changes because of external factors at home. So I have to assess all of that and bring that into the work when I'm working with people over like the 6 month period. But
Mm.
then what I do once we've assessed everything and see what's going on, we can put a plan in place together. And then we move into the recalibration. So that is where we actually do the work. So what do we
Yeah.
need to do? What process do we need to change? What product's not working? Is this business working? Do you want to try something new? That's all that stuff. And then we move into
Yeah.
the third part, which is where we evolve the evolution and you turn into where you should be. It's quite a nice process.
Oh, it's
And
powerful.
what I'm finding is now, although there are a lot of, I say skeptics, actually skeptics are the best ones because actually they've got more questions. Um, as humanity has evolved, especially since 2020, when we had a lot of time to think,
Yeah.
we have now got to the point where we need to reconnect and we're really assessing who we are, what we're about. And with AI coming in so strong now, it's actually doing the opposite. So everyone's scared of AI, but I think we should just embrace it and let it do what it needs to do because it can help every business. But at the same time, it's bringing humanity back in because people are like, I need relationships. I need to have real conversations, not let a computer do it. So
Yeah.
that's where I think my purpose is because I'm allowing that reconnection with yourself and then you're reconnecting with your business, your clients, and everything else. Sorry, I
Oh,
rambled, but I just hope that.
no, no, that makes so much sense. It's actually something funnily enough, I was talking this morning at a networking event about connection and being in the room and actually the effect that the pandemic had on people. Because I had the hospitality business during that time. What I found so interesting was not only customer, but staff behaviors changed from that journey pre and post. And
Yeah,
I think some of that, because people, particularly from a staff side of it, where I had an amazing core team. And obviously, they're always in the hospitality industry. I get turnover of people that come in. I had a really good, strong kind of core team. But before COVID, where people would come in and go, yeah, I'll do the job, no problem. People were like, I only want to work Monday 10 to 12.
yeah.
And I'm like, I'm closed. But they would come in literally with a rider of requests they would want from me. Whereas before it had changed. And I think a lot of people took back what they had inherently been taught by society as to how they should work and kind of went, well, what do I want? And it's thrown a real spanner in the works for employers who aren't set up to necessarily make those suitable adjustments in the same way. So I just find this whole thing fascinating. But I think there are so many people questioning their business. If like I have ADHD, I am definitely one of those people that would love to start 15 businesses every single day of the week. And I do my best not to. Um, but my biggest fear is that I get bored of my business. I love my business now, but I've already got an idea for my next business that is making me like wanting to bin this and start again. How do you deal with those people that have maybe got like 300 ideas at any one time and work out what's right? Big question, I know.
It is a big question, and it's funny because I was only diagnosed with ADHD a few months ago.
Oh, okay.
So I'm still processing a lot of this stuff, but it's so this is why it's interesting that you brought it up because um, up until like someone that you know, Steph, she
Yeah.
told me 18 months ago, you've got ADHD. I was like, no, whatever. And I was like, yeah. And a couple of months back, I thought, I need to see if it is true. And the diagnostic hit me. And after that moment when I saw it in writing, I heard it, I was like, oh. And I look back at the business side, and this is where I'll answer the question. All the things like jumping from this to that, changing my mind day after day, like sometimes twice a day, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I realized that that was the impact I was having. I was never able to really focus because your brain didn't give you a chance. But it also then made me question, am I really psychic? And then I was actually, yes, I am, because most people that have got ADHD are highly intuitive. We're more
Mm.
highly tuned than someone that isn't. Does that make sense? So for yourself,
Yeah.
although you might be thinking, I've got the next business, I've got this and that, actually, it's because your brain's already one step ahead. And you can see what you like, your body's actually catching up, trying to think, right, what do I need to do to get there? Um,
Yeah.
but it's important actually not to rush into decisions, and that's the one thing I've learned now, because I was ready to do something else. I love doing what I do, but like, let's try it a different way. But I've learned actually, no, that's not going to help me. It's more about, and I know you've been on this journey recently because I've seen like some of the things that you've done and what you've said, so I get it for you. It's understanding what you need and what you're aligned with and what you enjoy, and actually what you're worth, rather than the next shiny object, next idea. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Because I feel like
Yeah.
with you, you're now stepping into where you should be. You should have been there about 18 months ago, but because you kind of didn't know what felt right, um,
Yeah.
until it feels aligned with yourself, then you're never going to get there, are you? And like for you, I can, as an observer, I'm like, I can see the difference. And for you, it must feel so much better.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting because the effects of closing down the cafe, bar and bakery had a much deeper wound than I think I realized. And I still struggle with that doubt every single day, because it wasn't just shutting a business, it was letting go of 17 people that I paid
Yeah.
their paychecks and all of that, and all of the publicity went around it because I publicly went very loudly to make a point. Um, and I felt that was all I was qualified for. And actually, ironically, the business I was going to do before I opened the cafe, because I quit my job a year before I decided I was going to leave it without knowing what to do, because I just couldn't work for anyone else. I found out as only having my diagnosis, which I'm still not sure how I feel about it. If I'm honest, I'm still processing it a bit like you. It's an interesting one, isn't it? I was actually going to go into social media consultancy, so it has come full circle.
Yeah.
But then, I got such shiny object and like, oh no, cafe, that's much more exciting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
So
it.
it's
I get what you're saying. I agree with you. Um, but also, I think sometimes external factors affect you. Like other people's opinions then get in the way, don't they? Like, so that can sort of question what you're doing.
yeah,
Certainly for me.
yes. Do you find that it's actually often the people closest to you and their thoughts and their views that affect you the deepest when it comes to your business decisions, or do you find it's just generally the world?
Um, it's very different. I think if I was in a different business, it'd be a different answer. But because of what I do and I actually
Mm,
talk about it more openly, um, the reason I include the word psychic in my title is because I was told not to.
oh,
I've invested in coaches and all these things, the bro coaches, all the things that just I'm not aligned with. I don't know why I did it. It's because of the ADHD. And now I realise I spent money that I didn't need to spend. But
yeah,
all of them were saying, don't talk about the psychic. People won't listen to it. I'm like, actually, what I've realised now is you're not my people.
yeah.
And it's only been, honestly, this past year that I've really started really honing in that and talking about it and putting it through my messaging. But
Mm.
that's where the external influence come in because I was listening to the wrong people. So
Yeah, it's amazing how powerful that can be, really. I remember one of the first times that someone told me I couldn't do something. I mean, I don't have many memories from my childhood because I can't remember some of the stuff, but the one thing I did remember was a flute. My first instrument was flute. I wanted to be a professional flautist. And the teacher, I was think about 8 at the time, told me I'd never be professional because my teeth stuck out. And, these things, you think, how dare you tell that to a child that
Yeah.
they can't do something? I've actually played with a pianist that has one arm. He was a soloist for one of my concerts, and it was phenomenal. I'm like, why do people focus so much on what they think is better for you rather than help coach you through
That's
what's
it.
right for you?
Yeah.
It frustrates me. And, I'm not a believer of, no, you can't, unless it's physically, scientifically impossible, you know. Um, I want to talk a little bit now about Audacious Live, because I actually first properly met you back at the Big Festoon with the wonderful Danny Wallace, because for those of you that don't know on the podcast, I am part of Danny's flight squad where I help out behind the scenes. And that's where I first met Ben, who did an absolute phenomenal talk, and just absolutely nailed it. But I know for you, before going on, you're quite nervous about doing that, going onto that stage, but you absolutely nailed it. And I could see when you came off that wave of emotion that came over you. It was so powerful what you
Oh,
achieved there.
yeah.
How was that kind of experience for you, and kind of how that kind of, I guess, the springboard a little bit for creating your own event?
Yes. So that I'd met Danny at the Ideas Fest, and I was like, I just knew I needed to work with her, and obviously that was in the talk because I was like, I've met my people. And then so doing the big festoon and standing on that stage was me actually for the first time I'd say ever just claiming my place. And it was kind of telling my story about why I was there and what's happened from that point now is that my evolution because I'm just talking about very different things, but actually I needed to do that. And you're right, it was the springboard for now. Um, and then I thought maybe I should do an event, have no events experience. And a venue came available in Essex that I just thought, oh, this could work. I happened to walk in, met the manager that ran the place and said, yeah, we could do that. And I was like, okay, we're doing this. And that's where it was born. But I just didn't want it to be in a boring conference room. I needed it to be a bit different. And that's where it was born. I'm not going to lie, it was really stressful. And because I was not experiencing events, it was just the pre planning stuff that, everything can go wrong and it does. But
Yeah.
an amazing event. It went really well. I was so lucky. Um, and the feedback was amazing too. So it was the best thing I've ever done, and I can't wait for the next one.
Oh, it's going to be epic. I think this is events are incredible. People don't, I mean, I have never done an event, and I've done loads and loads of events where something hasn't gone very wrong.
Yeah,
Like most events, something goes wrong, from like the conductor losing his trousers to literally artists, because I used to work at big festivals, not getting off stage when you have a time curfew
yeah,
on music, and the events manager literally in the photo pit waving at them to stop because they are so in the moment. You can't get, what can you do in that situation? I mean, it's just, there has been everything going on behind the scenes that you don't see. And that's what I mean, I love about events, but they are a lot of work. But the experience of them, it's also worth it, I think. And I've learned from events that they have the biggest impact on people when they go in, they're in that room, and it's something they remember. It's not just what they see, it's what they feel, isn't it?
yeah. It's the feel. That's the thing that I took away from my event and other events I've been to, and it was just so there was two people. They grabbed me towards the end of the day, and one of them just started crying at me.
Wow.
Said thank you. I was like, what for? Because I was like in my moment. And she just went, was just crying, but it was like good crying. And she said, this is the first event I've ever been to where I feel safe, I feel welcome, and I feel like I've with the right people. And she said, you've created that. And it just stuck with me. I thought, I'm onto something with that because it's just that feeling. And for her to have that impact, and that wasn't the only one, there was other people said similar things. And it was just, that was magic. Like we created something special with that.
Oh, yes. And I can absolutely see that. But I think it's so important to have events like this where people feel like it's a really powerful thing for people to
Yeah,
feel safe, because so often, a lot of the time, people don't. They don't feel seen, they don't feel heard, and they actually don't feel safe to be themselves, do
that's
they?
it. That's it.
Yeah. And you've been through this very much with your own journey, haven't you? Where you kind of masked who you really were
Yeah.
underneath it all. And I know like it took quite a pivotal moment in your life to kind of go, I've had enough. What was that kind of moment like where you kind of realized like I can't carry on the way I am?
Um, do you know what? It's been what what we are, so we're talking 10, 12 years of that, if I'm honest. So 2014 was the big change. I was very sick and lots of things happened, spiritual stuff as well. That's a complete another podcast. Um,
You have to come back.
yeah,
We'll have to get into that one.
but that was the point where I was like, I need to do something about this. And from that moment, I've been on this spiritual growth journey, but also identity journey, trying to find out who I am and where I fit. And it's not, it's an everyday thing, but it is so true. You just drop the mask and it feels so much easier. And this past year has been even more of that because now I really feel it. And what I do realize is that I love being on a stage, which is like, okay, that's a new feeling because I just feel at home. Who thought I
Yeah.
could hold a crowd? I'm not used to that, but I can just do it. Um, I know
And you do it brilliantly as well.
it was an event 2 weeks ago, which was like a female business owners, 100 and something people in the room, and I was the first ever male speaker, and I was like absolutely petrified because it was being me putting into that space, but also being made welcome, and that was me a big pivotal moment because I literally stood on that stage, and I asked one question, and I realised that they were my people, and it was just everyone then wanted to be part of it, like wanted to interact, and it was just magic. And I thought, oh my god, if I can do this here, I can do this anywhere. So it just that was the next thing.
Oh, but isn't that interesting? Because going right back to when you lived above that pub, and like you say, you'd open that door of your house and you'll feel like you're performing.
Yeah,
In a way, that natural calling has come all the
it's
way
full
back round.
circle. It is. It's so surreal, but I love it, and I just love the impact I can have on people. And if that's
Yeah.
just one person saying thank you for making me feel good, then that's to me that's impact.
Oh, I'm going to have to wait. I could talk to you all day, but I'm going to bring it in. So, Ben, where can people find you and where can people get tickets for Audacious Live in 2027?
So, I've got a website, benfranklin.co.uk. I'm on the socials, so you can find me because we're connected. Other people connect me by you, and audaciouslive.com.
Perfect. I'll put all the details in the show notes. Ben, it's been an absolute joy having you on the podcast today. Thank you so much.
That's all right. Thank you.